Fidel Castro's daughter, Elena Fernandez, was asked whether or not Justin Trudeau is her brother. And this is what she had to say.
For years, we've heard rumors that Justin Trudeau, the former Prime Minister of Canada, could be your half-brother. What do you think of that?
The only thing I can say is that his mother used to visit the country very often.
Well, that may be a tell then. I guess that's a half answer.
Yeah.
Do you plan to call him and maybe find out?
No. I won't do it. If he wants, he's going to be welcome, but I won't. I think he keeps that to himself, and you have to respect that.
That wasn't a no. And this is Fidel Castro's daughter, Elena Fernandez, alluding to the fact that Justin Trudeau may be her half-brother. That is what she sounded to be alluding to. So let's walk down this conspiracy theory lane. I tend to believe that he is actually Castro's kid, and I'm going to walk you through the evidence of this. I've done this before, but I'm going to do it again because people still seem to not believe it. They say, no. The very first time that Pierre Trudeau and his wife Margaret met Fidel Castro was in 1976, and Justin Trudeau was born in December of 1971, so the timing is off. She didn't even know Castro at the time, so there's no way they could have possibly had an affair. But you're all wrong. They absolutely could have, and there is enough circumstantial evidence, one being the fact that these two look absolutely identical. When you look at Justin Trudeau and Castro, especially that middle picture, when I first see that middle picture, I think that is a black and white of Justin Trudeau, but that is actually Fidel Castro. These two look exactly the same. Look at this. I don't know why Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un are in the bottom there. I guess they might be related, according to this collage, but Justin Trudeau and Fidel Castro just look alarmingly similar. And look at Justin and his supposed dad. Do you think they look as much alike? Because I don't really see it. This I see. This I don't see. This I see. This I don't really see. And take a look at this. This is, how do you see here? This is when Fidel Castro and Pierre met for the first time, which was in 1976, supposedly. But we're going to walk through the timeline here because people said that one of the things they noticed, and I want you to keep this in mind, that when the two met for the first time in 1976, that it was unusually warm and friendly, they said. They said it seemed like this was not the first time they had met. Now, officially, the Canadian Prime Minister's office would say, well, they had some diplomatic relations, they had communicated through back channels, they had proxies that had chatted with one another. So they had some interaction with each other, and that's why they were unusually warm and friendly and seemingly familiar. But I'm going to assert that they had actually met each other well before then. So let's go through the actual timeline here. Justin Trudeau was born December 25th of 1971, which means he was conceived around late March or early April of 1971. Now, here's where things get a little bit strange, okay? Because Pierre Trudeau and Margaret Trudeau had just gotten married in March of 1971. And he was 51 years old, and she was only 22 years old. So by nearly every account, this was not some deeply romantic fairy tale relationship. In fact, many accounts say that Margaret felt very pressured into the relationship, that Pierre pursued her, which is really kind of creepy, a 51-year-old going after this 22-year-old young girl. And she was kind of a wild child, and she liked to party, and she liked to go out, and she liked to stay out, and she was kind of out of her parents' control. And Pierre expressed interest in her, and so her family, because he was prominent, and he was prime minister, and he was famous, her family pressured her into the relationship, but she wasn't really interested in this older guy. So that is sort of the background of this relationship. She wasn't too hot for him, felt pressured, married him. Okay. So they get married in 1971. She's, kind of wild. And by the way, Margaret, people say, well, how dare you insinuate that Margaret would be a cheater? Well, no, she said she was a cheater. She wrote books about being a cheater. She cheated on Pierre. That's not a secret. She admitted it herself. Okay. She says, well, she gives excuses. I was lonely, or I felt cooped up, or I wasn't really ready for to be wife of the prime minister and all of these things. Okay, fine. And then she talks about affairs that she had later in the 70s and in the 80s. Okay, but is she going to admit to having affairs early on when she was bearing children? Yeah, probably not. That would be a little bit, suspicious. People would start asking questions like, hey, is Justin Castro's kid? She wants to avoid those kinds of questions. So instead she would say, well, I started cheating on him later. Not right away. Meanwhile, she's 22 years old. She's beautiful. She's totally and completely not enamored with the guy that she's dating, and he's 51 years old. And, she's, what do you expect a 22-year-old to do? So they're not in this deeply romantic fairy tale relationship, okay? Well, during the exact conception window for Justin Trudeau, Pierre and Margaret took an interesting trip that was supposedly their official honeymoon, which meant there were fewer reporters and there wasn't an official itinerary or an official schedule of where they were staying. So we actually don't know exactly where they stayed on this 10-day trip to the Caribbean, which is an easy place for Fidel Castro to go. And Pierre was notoriously a workaholic, and Margaret says, even in her biographies, that she felt very isolated and alone, that Pierre spent a lot of his time working. So even during this supposed honeymoon trip, where we don't know exactly where they stayed. We know that they traveled through Barbados, Tobago, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but we don't know where they stayed exactly. We don't know, which hotels, nothing. We don't know really. Here's a key detail. This kind of gives you an insight into the relationship and what this honeymoon was like. During the honeymoon, Pierre Trudeau actually took a side trip to Trinidad for a political meeting with Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister Eric Williams. And he left Margaret alone on the island. He left her alone in Tobago while he went off on this trip to go meet with another prime minister. So he's supposedly on his honeymoon, but he's meeting with another prime minister. So this just goes to show you his mentality. He's not some romantic guy. He's a workaholic. He's working all the time. So it is to be considered that they may have had other guests with them on this island, that Pierre Trudeau used the honeymoon with a lack of press, a lack of following, a lack of itinerary, saying it's a honeymoon, it's not an official anything. Took the opportunity for this unofficial travel plan to maybe meet with a leader of a country that is on the naughty list for the United States, and to do it privately, quietly, discreetly, without anybody knowing. So it is possible that Fidel Castro met them on the island, and that Pierre Trudeau used his honeymoon as cover to meet with Fidel Castro. Why would he do that? There's a lot of great reasons why he would do that. He didn't want to piss off the United States, for one, but he also wanted to be, Canada had diplomatic relations with Cuba, so he also wanted to be maybe a bit defiant of the United States, wanted to be this new prime minister that wasn't under the thumb of the U.S., wanted to break free from U.S. foreign policy, wanted to establish these ties himself, wanted to be a bit of a revolutionary himself. There might have been a lot of reasons for it. But imagine now if that's the case. So if we don't know where Castro was during this time, we don't have any record of it, and it wouldn't have been difficult for him to make it to the Caribbean at the time. Now imagine you're 22-year-old Margaret, and you're hot and beautiful. I mean, look at her. She is stunningly beautiful. And you're 22, and you're gorgeous, and you're on this island, and and your husband is this 51-year-old balding 5'8" man, and this strapping, handsome, 6'2", dark, revolutionary leader who's only 44 comes walking around. And, he's got charisma, and he's a big personality. And he's good looking, and he's tall, and he's all these things. Maybe a 22-year-old might sneak out of her room every so often to meet for a little rendezvous with a with a one Fidel Castro. That is not outside of the realm of possibility. And it would be right inside the window of Justin Trudeau being conceived. And it is well known that Margaret was a cheater and that she was not that thrilled with having to get married to Pierre. And it's well known that he was also a workaholic. And it's also well known that Justin and Castro look exactly alike. So there is this possibility that that Castro is in fact Justin Trudeau's that Justin Trudeau is in fact Castro's kid. That Justin would be Justin Castro. A lot of people, I know people watch this and you're going to say, no, he looks just like his dad. No, he doesn't. He doesn't look anything like his dad. He looks like his mom too. And his mom is a white lady that kind of looks like Pierre. I mean, she's got some similarities there. So Justin, of course, would have picked some of those. But, you know, I mean, when you connect the dots, you've got private islands, limited press coverage, incomplete public travel records, plausible deniability, a young bride left alone while the prime minister ran off and did his work, even if it didn't happen while he went off to this other island without Margaret and left her alone for a little bit, because he might have taken Castro with him for all we know on that trip. But I mean, if Castro was just anywhere near the island, I mean, a 22-year-old while her husband's working away, doing his thing, always in meetings, using the honeymoon as a work vacation, you know, she can sneak off for a little fun and meet up with a strapping, tall, 44-year-old, hot, sexy, you know, Cuban man. I mean, tall, charismatic, physically imposing, globally famous. Like, okay, this is not outside of the realm of possibility, guys. And by the way, Justin Trudeau is 6'2", and his dad was 5'8", and Fidel Castro is 6'2". So not only does he look just like him, but he also has his build. You be the judge. Thanks for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson Show, which you can catch Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, for free at KimIversonShow.com. See you there.